one thing I was thinking of potentially bringing up was breatharianism. So I thought I could potentially bring this in because you talked about the breath, and you talked about how, that's more essential than anything that we can take in is breathing in it. And that's what I've been learning quite recently into this topic of breatharianism. People that are living literally just from breathing and not from with any consuming any food or water or liquids. And there's a whole process of initiation of how you have to get off food and onto it. But they basically are tapping into all the energy sources, I believe, which is what I seem to have observed so far, is that there's different energies that you can tap into, like solar energy. Like the food grows from the solar energy, so you can tap into that solar energy instead of using the food as a sort of middleman to get in that solar energy. And then there's a universal prana energy. And I think so. I think there's multiple sources that you can tap into, which so you don't actually necessarily need to eat food, but it's not something you can just do like snap overnight. It's like they talk about all the initiation and stuff. So I just thought I would bring that into the conversation. I wondered if you've heard about it before and stuff.
I have, and I have done fasting, but I have not done a breatharian long-term fast myself, but I have heard of it, and it's really interesting because I'm in the process of deepening my medical Qigong studies, and Qigong is Chinese energy work, Qi being energy, Gong, discipline over time. And one of the things that came up recently is the ways that we bring energy in. And one of the ways is through through bringing things into our body. And this includes food, liquid, and breath are all included in the category of bringing things into your body. And even if you're eating 3 meals a day, only 30% of your nutrients are coming from your food. 70% of your nutrients come from the breath, even if you're overeating, because you can only take in so much from the food. And so I'm not advocating or denying the idea of giving up food. I do think it's a good practice to do some fasting. It's definitely something I encourage in a conscious way, that you're paying attention to how it's affecting your body and going through the right process. And so it's I've actually thought about the breatharian thing for many years, but hearing that 70%, just on a regular, normal basis, just eating, breathing, drinking, 70% of your nutrition comes from the air you breathe. And so it's important to pay attention to the quality of what you bring into your body and the quantity. So if only 30% of your nutrition is coming from food, then you definitely need a lot less food than what most people are trained to eat with their 3 meals a day. And you definitely need a lot more breath, and more conscious breath. And then the other ways that energy comes in to the body are through movement, through your thoughts. So paying attention to the quality of your thoughts, to the awareness that you're having in your mind. Energy comes into you from your environment. So maybe you notice a different feeling when you're in a house versus in a forest, because the energy is different, and the energy is coming in energetically. The energy doesn't only come in through your mouth and nose, through breath and food. It comes from all other places. Like you mentioned, the solar energy, that would be considered environmental energy in Qigong. There are ways that we can gather energy for our body that have nothing to do with eating food. There's way, way, way too much emphasis on getting your energy from food. In fact, you may have noticed that eating certain foods takes away your energy, and then you have to sleep it off before you can do things again. And so, yeah, there are a lot of ways besides food, and much more easy access to energy comes from these things: the movement practice, the environment, the breath. All of these things give you quick, easy access to energy. So that's a big part of what I teach, is how to gather energy. And I do sometimes talk about the food or not food choices. That's not really the focus of my practice, but it is something that I'm very aware of, and definitely, when it's appropriate, share with my clients as well.